Hey, good morning, friends. Friends, today is the eve of the presidential election in the United States. Now, I am not going to make a prediction because the American presidential election cycle or election system is very tricky and it is difficult to predict. That is because in the United States, it seems as if people are voting based on sectionalism. People are voting based on tribalism. Yes, the idea or the concept of tribalism in this sense doesn't work because, aside from the Native Americans, most Americans don't consider themselves tribes, as the majority of the Native American populations or the population in what is known as the Americas were wiped out. About 90 something percent of them were wiped out. Now, in the United States, most Americans based on tribalism in that most Americans or many Americans are voting because they are Republicans or they are Democrats. So basically, they are voting for their party. And most Americans are very loyal to their party. Now, you may hear all the notion of this person being an independent or so on. I think it is nonsense because at the end of the day, most Americans are already leaning to one party or the other. Now, my friends, the election is upon us, and once again, I am not going to make a prediction. I hope to see what is going to happen. Now, in terms of the election this year, 2024, it seems, at least to me, that this election, 2024, is probably the most fearful or the most angry election in American history or even in world history. There are so many things that are happening too within the United States or around the world, things that their occurrences are either strongly the result of the United States hands, the United States manipulating the situation, or the United States has something to do with it. Whether we are talking about the war in Ukraine, the situation in Gaza, the situation in southern Lebanon, the situation in the West Bank, or the potential war between Iran and Israel. And once again, I am going to repeat, the possibility of war between Israel and Iran is very much ripe. And the situation in the Middle East continues to spiral out of control. Now, the Iranian leader recently made a threat or made a statement in which he said that Israel and the United States are going to get a blow. Basically, they are going to get a strong Iranian response to Israel's recent attack, October 26th attack on Iran, or the attack on Iran as a result of Iranian retaliation against Israel. So basically, what is happening is nothing but retaliation, retaliation, and more retaliation. Now, friends, the situation in the Middle East, for many around the world, for many in the United States, for many Muslims, for many Middle Eastern, the situation in the Middle East, specifically in Gaza, it is happening or persisting as a result of the United States' support of Israel. And the truth here is, no matter what is going to happen, the United States is not going to detach. The United States will be in strong support of Israel no matter what. Now, in terms of the election, many in the United States are very much angry. In addition to Joe Biden being old and dysfunctional, many Americans or Democrats were not going to vote for Joe Biden. Basically, by April, May, June, July, the election was over until Joe Biden basically stepped back and Kamala Harris became the front runner of the Democratic Party for president. Kamala Harris becoming the front runner made the election unovered, and it gave and continue to give Trump a run for his money, or the Republicans run for their money. And the possibility that Kamala Harris could win this election is something that everybody should anticipate. I do believe that she could win, but I'm not going to predict. However, if Kamala Harris wins the election, it does have some geopolitical, cultural and heritage connection to it. This is basically the fact that she is an Indian origin, and her winning is a good thing for India, for India's prestige, in terms of its heritage being the face of the United States. Now, I do apologize, my friends, for deviating. But my point here is the election is a fearful, scary election, angry election. Many in the United States are angry at Joe Biden, and they were never going to vote for Joe Biden. Now, many are going to vote for Kamala Harris or the Democratic ticket. However, there are those who decide not to vote because of what is happening in Gaza, which many term to be a genocide against the Palestinians. This is to the point where even Muslim communities in the United States are saying that they are not going to vote for Kamala Harris or for the Democratic ticket. And there are those recently during a Trump rally who came out, who spoke, and basically offered strong support for Donald Trump against Kamala Harris or the Democrats. This is with the claim or the statement that they are not going to support a party or a leadership that is enabling a genocide. My point here is, or my question is that by voting for Donald Trump against Kamala Harris, by winning the election for Donald Trump, do they protect the Palestinian? Do they solve the situation in Gaza? To that I say no. And in fact, by winning the election for Donald Trump, they may have made the situation in Gaza worse. This is because Donald Trump is a strong supporter of Israel. And this is because Donald Trump has one of the most significant groups behind him in the United States in terms of political and cultural and religious influence, as well as in terms of vote. And we are talking about the Christian right in the United States, and most especially the core of the Christian right, the far right, that are in strong support of Israel. And many of these guys believe in Armageddon. They want for the so-called temple to be built so Jesus can come back. And these guys take their support for Israel seriously. Now, if you look at Donald Trump seemed to be a person who many, to me, are either supporting, especially those on the right, in the far right, are supporting him because, unlike other American Republican leaders, achieving what the far right want to achieve, accomplishing what they want to accomplish in terms of American political system influence, is easily achievable under Donald Trump. So they are in strong support of Donald Trump. Now you have the racist part of the far right and Donald Trump. There are those who may say that Donald Trump is not racist, and that could be the case. However, it seems as if Donald Trump has been compensating, which means that he has been talking racist talks as a means to rally his troops, to basically galvanize support. The far right go excessive, Donald Trump goes excessive. However, for those who decide not to vote for Kamala Harris, should Donald Trump win the election, I don't think it's helpful for Palestinians or for the situation in the Middle East, period. Now, friends, if you haven't, please subscribe to this channel. Please become a member of the Echoing Voice community. Please share the link to this video with your friends and your families. Please share the links to the other videos with your friends and your families. And also, please share the link to this channel with your friends and your families. Join the conversation. I want to hear what you think, and please tell me what you think. Now, my friends, in terms of the fear and the anger of this American election, Puerto Ricans are one such people who are angry. Now, black people are angry, but to an extent, many are not showing it. And this is probably because black people in the United States are used to it. Also, this is probably because many blacks in the United States, honestly, I do feel, are confused. And there are those who feel that Donald Trump is the best candidate for them or whatsoever. And there are those who also would, no matter what Donald Trump does or say, as many MAGA supporters do, will forgive him or ignore the nonsense. Now, in terms of the United States election being scary and angry this year, during the closing rally of Donald Trump in New York City, the speakers at the rally, from Tucker Carlson to others, made some pretty disrespectful, racist comments. Many of them called Kamala Harris lots of dangerous and bad name from the Antichrist. And somebody mentioned that she has a pimp handlers. In this case, if she does have pimp handlers, that means she's being pimped or whatsoever. It was very nasty. One of the speakers, a comedian, basically make joke of black people eating watermelons or so on. And this, in addition to the speakers at Trump's rally calling black people name and also making statement that black people do eat watermelon and so on. They also make some jokes at other immigrants and or minority group. One of the speakers, a comedian, called Puerto Rico a pile of garbage in the middle of the ocean. That, I think, was very disrespectful and it was sad. It was racism in real time being propagated and romanticized in a way that the speakers and the supporters and Donald Trump are showing strongly that they do not care about Puerto Rico or whatever they do. And it is also painful that the comedian made such statement in New York, in the heart of one of the largest Puerto Rican community in the United States. And Puerto Rico is part of the United States. To make those statements that these guys made, and by the comedian calling Puerto Rico a garbage in the middle of the ocean, I do feel as if they were speaking to white Puerto Ricans. Something that I've observed in the world, and that seems to be happening, is the linking or linkage of the far right or conservative movements throughout the world, in Europe, in Latin America, in the United States. The white elites seem to be linking up. There seems to be some agreement between or among these groups in how they treat their own people of color and also in how they run their countries. And this is something that I do believe the rest of the world need to take notice. Now, in terms of the anger of America's election and the fear, Ukraine is one such topic as well. There are many people who are angry at the Democrats for losing in Ukraine or for the fact that the United States is not effective in Ukraine. And they are criticizing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, saying that the Biden administration shouldn't have engaged or they basically wasted time to go after Vladimir Putin and Russia. Now, many are calling Joe Biden's policy in Ukraine foolish and stupid, and Donald Trump has made such comments many times. The truth here is, what is happening in Ukraine, what is happening in the Middle East, and what could be happening in Asia between Taiwan and China? It's an American policy. It's not a Biden policy. Biden is only the bad lucky president who happened to be the president when American policies fail. It doesn't matter who comes to power. They would have gone after Vladimir Putin, China, and Gaza. Perhaps Donald Trump could end the war in Ukraine as a means to reestablish and the Republicans and neocons to basically befriend Russia so that they can go after China. But in this case, it is only effective if Russia accepts a subservient relationship with the United States. But if Russia continues to channel what it is gaining, the respect, the regard, the prestige that it has been gaining since Russia invaded Ukraine, the United States will snap back. The truth here is, it is about subserviency and the American exceptionalism. So the neocons, the United States, will not allow a Russia that is equal to them, especially a Russia that emerged after the fall of the Soviet Union, that is challenging the United States and the West, which Russia has been doing. Now, in terms of the election, my friends, have you voted? Did you vote? Are you going to vote? Will you vote? If you are voting, if you have voted, who did you vote for? Who are you going to vote for? Who do you want to win and why? I hope you join the conversation and tell us what you think, how you think, and what do you think the repercussion, the consequence of your vote, or the consequence of either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump winning the election. Now, my friends, I did not intend to disrespect you or to become controversial. I only decide to comment on a culture of a country as I see fit. I may be wrong and I may be right. However, if you think I'm wrong or right, please tell me what you think. If I'm wrong, please teach me, and I'm hoping to learn. But friends, I'm going to end here. Please tell me what you think, and I want to hear what you think. But most importantly, I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community. And I want to thank you also, friends, a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Peace, my friends. Peace.